Hi, my name is Patty Bender. Welcome back to video number 2. This is my second video on my top 3 challenges that I faced when getting started online. So my second challenge is focus. And let me explain to you what I mean by focus. When I got started online, I didn't have a lot of training under my belt. So I was basically getting busy with activities that I thought I should be focused on. What I learned after wasting months and months of time is that I was busy, but I wasn't productive. I wasn't focused on the right things. So what you need to do is determine what the most important activities are to create a successful, profitable online business for yourself and focus on those things. So my advice on overcoming this scatteredness that I experienced is, number one, you want to focus on one thing at a time. Now, the first thing I did, and I learned this after coaching with the Tony Robbins company for a year, is I use a plan called RPM, and it's the Rapid Planning Method. So what is RPM? Rapid Planning Method. So what you do is you basically have a table, and you have 3 columns, and your center column is your outcome. So you can use this for a 1-year plan, or you can use it for one specific, let's say, marketing strategy that you want to implement. You can break it down as small as you want, or you can have it as big as you want. But first thing you want to do is establish your outcome. So basically, you're going to write down what it is you want to achieve. Maybe it's an income goal. It doesn't matter. You decide what that outcome is. And then after you have established your outcome, you want to determine the purpose, or your why. Why you want to establish this outcome. So what's the purpose for doing so? And then the last column you tackle is MAP, or Massive Action Plan. And what you're going to do is you're going to just start writing all the things that you think need to happen in order for this outcome to be achieved. And you're just going to write and just keep writing until you can't think of anything else. You just keep writing. Don't put the pen down until you're done writing all the things you need to do. What happens then is that you will notice when you think you have everything written down to achieve this outcome, you're going to start to notice that maybe this relates to this, and maybe both those things relate to something down here, and you're going to end up grouping them. And in my experience, what you're going to see is you may have a list of 25 things, but you're going to end up with 2 to 4 groups, okay? Because you're going to start to see some similarities or some relationships between all these action steps. And then what happens is these 25 things don't seem so overwhelming, because that is one of the issues with why people have trouble focusing, and I totally struggled with focus. And focusing on the right things that made me money. So back to this, you're going to find 2 to 4 groups of things you need to accomplish, and then out of those 2 to 4 things, you'll be able to prioritize what's most important. And then you start to implement these action steps, which lead you to this outcome and why you did this in the first place. Isn't that cool? RPM, Rapid Planning Method. This is one of the things in our Millionaires Library, and highly recommend anything that Tony Robbins puts out, quality stuff. So anyway, that's my first recommendation for helping you with focus. The second recommendation is, whatever it is you decide to focus on, there could be however many of these end up being, and you're breaking it down into groups. Let's say you implement the first group of activities, okay? Which means you've got some things you need to learn, so you learn it, and then you apply it, which means you're going to create potentially an income stream from what you've learned and applied, and then you teach it. So that's the second thing you need to do. Learn, apply, and teach. Now, why do you want to do that? Why would you want to turn around and teach somebody else how to do what you just did? Well, first of all, you want to learn it and apply it so you're making money for your own business. Teaching allows you to do several things. One, establish yourself as a credible person in this industry who has knowledge and is willing to share it with others. That goes a long way. The second thing is you are setting up yourself as a leader and also building your video library. So multiple purposes come out of learning, applying, and teaching. So those two, the RPM and just learning, applying, and teaching have been huge for me in my business, and allowing people to see that I'm now giving back by what I've learned. So just keep that in mind. Just some more pitfalls to recognize that you're falling into the focus struggle, challenge, whatever you want to call it. Several things that happened to us is we got caught up in procrastination. If you don't know what procrastination looks like, you suddenly realize you are getting ready to get ready. And you feel like you're just getting ready. You're going to start, but you just never start, okay? That's one thing to recognize what lack of focus looks like. The second thing is that we encountered was we started thinking that we had to read all these books and we had to do all this stuff before we ever started applying it. So we were getting caught up in having to know it all before we got started. And then the third thing that I'm definitely guilty of is perfection paralysis. It had to be perfect, it had to be exactly where I felt I was happy with it, when most times the first video I shot, just as an example, would have been perfectly fine because the content was good and that's all that mattered. So anyway, just so you can start to get a feel for if you're getting stuck in this focus challenge like we did, these are some of the hints, the clues on how to recognize that. So again, that's the challenge, and the way we overcame it was, focusing on one thing at a time by using the RPM method. Learn, apply, and teach it to others. Hope this video was a help to you guys, and we will see you on video number 3. Look forward to seeing you again. Thanks.